First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here today. It's never a pleasant day when one has to announce the arrest of a police officer, but as we have committed and the mayor has committed from the time he got into office and our administration has committed, was to come in here and cooperate with all agencies in an effort to make this department a better place. I want to begin by thanking the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Miami-Dade County, and all other agencies involved who have put forth a ginormous effort in making this happen. This is an ongoing process, so my statement is going to be very brief. It is an ongoing criminal investigation. Any details will be deferred to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. What I am here to say is that we have separated Officer Renny Garcia from duty without pay as a result of his arrest on yesterday's date. This is the result, again, of an ongoing criminal investigation that the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is conducting, along with the cooperation of Miami-Dade Anti-Corruption and other agencies. And my commitment to the community, to the mayor, to the legislative body was to cooperate with any and all agencies in order to bring about change to this place that has been here for decades. And I think that this is the first step of a new beginning for the City of Sweetwater Police Department. And again, this is something that could not have been done without the assistance, again, of FDLE, the FBI, and all other agencies involved, including Miami-Dade County. So kudos goes out to them on my behalf, and I want to continue to work with them in the future going forward to, again, make this place a better place. The common practice in law enforcement throughout the state and nationwide is if an officer is accused or an allegation made of the officer, until that officer is actually arrested, he is suspended with pay. The minute that that officer is arrested, he's separated from the department without pay or benefits. And that is what has occurred here on a standard basis with all officers that are involved, and will continue to occur as officers wind up in a jam or going to jail.
As the chief was saying, I'd like to thank Florida Department of Law Enforcement as well as Miami-Dade County Public Corrections Unit for this thorough investigation that, to the best of my knowledge, has been ongoing since the year 2012. As the chief was saying, there are very few comments that can be made at this time. But in the spirit of true transparency, when I was elected in 2015, I promised the residents of Sweetwater that I would try to root out all corruption within the police department. With that promise, I brought in complete new police administration staff that was not inherent from within the department. It was hard and difficult to change the culture within the department of the people that were instilled and created and trained within the same culture. For that reason, I brought in Chief Diaz, Major Carmona, and Assistant Chief Herbello to come in and correct the behaviors of this department.
What I am familiar with, and the details are appalling, I can tell you that in almost 30 years of law enforcement experience, I have never encountered anything that egregious. There was a complete breakdown in policy and administrative process here that occurred over decades and was just inherently buried and buried into the establishment and into the organization. As you well know, to change culture and change policy, it's a milestone and a hurdle to cross. We've had to do this through a number of ways, and among those ways, it's been attrition. Attrition in many ways, either forced attrition, attrition otherwise, attrition by retirement, etc. But we've managed to force attrition and have a fairly new department now with policy in place where there wasn't any before. We are striving toward state accreditation, which basically means that we are going to be held to state standards, which are best practices nationwide. We are currently in that process. We are assuring that every officer has gone through every single piece of training possible, whether they claim to have it or not, everything from handgun to taser to CPR to first aid to general policies, general orders. There will not be a policy failure here because everybody will be accountable as to the new policy. Everybody has to acknowledge the new policy. That was another problem you had here. There was policy, but yet there wasn't. It was mostly informal, poorly written, and hadn't been revised for probably 20 years, 25 years. And you had contradicting policies in place where one policy says, well, you are not allowed to take a gift. The next section about a page down the line says that it's at the discretion of the chief of police. Well, that's not right. So those are little things that you catch going through policy that have to be changed, and we've changed those. And that's where we're at today. I can assure all the residents and assure you all that there is new policy in place. We have eliminated all the possibility for any inconsistencies as far as property. We don't take money at all here anymore, which was part of the problems that Ms. Carrillo was referring to. We don't hold evidence here anymore, and we don't have prisoner holding cells, which was primarily the biggest issues here. So we've eliminated the high liability areas here in order to make sure that we affect positive change and avoid any further problems with any of these areas. So again, I feel very it's a sad day, yet a good day. And again, I want to refer back to our brothers and sisters in FDLE and Metro-Dade corruption, because without them, this wouldn't be possible. And I don't want to go any further into any details that they may or may not be working, because it is their case. And I'm here just to thank them and give you as much information as I possibly can.